Good morning, good morning, good morning! Welcome back to Children's Church. I'm so glad to have you here with me. And today's lesson is Don't Look Behind You! Okay, sorry, that was a little intense, but I think it's very funny. We're actually in the book of Genesis, chapter 19, and we're talking about Lot and his wife. I don't think we know her name, but I'm going to read to you from Genesis chapter 19, and then we're going to talk about it, okay? So, actually, I'm just going to tell you the story. So Sodom and Gomorrah was a bad place. They did a lot of bad things, and God decided to judge them. And Abraham prayed, well, if there's 100 righteous people, please don't destroy the city. And there weren't. If there are 50, and it went down the list till he got to one. If there's one righteous person, will you not destroy the city? And God said, no, go get him out of the city. So Abraham went to go get his nephew Lot. And in order to get them out of the city, God sent 2 angels to come and collect them. And this caused a riot in the streets, and there was lots of arguing. And then, at daybreak, the angels urged Lot on, "Get up, take your wife and 2 daughters who are here with you, or you'll be swept away in the punishment of the city." But he hesitated. Because of the Lord's compassion for him, the men grabbed his wife's hand, and the hands of his 2 daughters, then brought them out and left the city. As soon as the angels got them outside, one of them said, "Run for your lives. Don't look back and don't stop anywhere on the plain. Run to the mountains or you'll be swept away." But Lot said to them, "No, my lords, please, your servant has indeed found favor in your sight, and you've shown me great kindness by saving my life. But I can't run to the mountains. The disaster will overtake me and I will die. Look, this town is close enough for me to run to. It's a small place. Please let me go there. It's only a small place, isn't it?" And they said to him, "All right, I'll grant your request about this matter too, and not demolish the town you mentioned. Hurry up, run there, for I cannot do anything until you get there." The name of the city is Zoar. The sun had risen over the land when Lot reached Zoar, and then the sky rained down sulfur on Sodom and Gomorrah from the Lord. He demolished these cities, the entire plain, and all the inhabitants, and whatever grew on the ground. But his wife looked back and became a pillar of salt. Early in the morning, Abraham went to the place where he had stood before the Lord. He looked down toward Sodom and Gomorrah and all the land of the plain. He saw the smoke was going up from the land like from a furnace. So it was, when God destroyed the cities of the plain, he remembered Abraham and brought Lot out in the middle of the upheaval as he demolished the cities where he had lived. Well, so there's a lot going on in that story. But the part that most people talk about is Lot's wife. She looked back. She looked behind her, and she turned into a pillar of salt. Why? Well, it could be a story about following directions. God spared them out of a whole several cities, so many people. All he said is, don't look behind you. But she had to look back, and she was turned into a pillar of salt. I think that's kind of wild. But this is the Old Testament, and things were pretty specific. Because God didn't save them for themselves. God said if there were one righteous man in the city, he would spare Sodom and Gomorrah. Lot didn't count. Lot was saved because Abraham begged God on his behalf. So his wife wasn't spared when she didn't follow the directions. I've always found this story weird. But I do think it has something good to say. Once you've left a bad situation, don't look back. There's a temptation to look back and think of all the good things that were there. And that will lead you to just walk right back in. Once God has pulled you out of a bad situation, don't look behind you. You don't need to go there. You don't need to see it. God can help them. Don't look behind you. I will see you guys next week for another lesson. Have a wonderful, wonderful week.